Mommy, I'm filming something. Anyways, Michael Myers, Pennywise, and every horror icon you've ever been afraid of, what do they all have in common? Well, they're actually very easy to defeat. Because behind these characters' spooky masks and rusty weapons is a secret they don't want you to know. None of these villains would be scary at all if their victims were all total idiots. So today, we pull back the curtain and I'm gonna break down all the legendary horror villains that I, a regular person with 2 working feet, half a brain, and mild constipation, I could definitely avoid being slaughtered by them. At the end of this video, you will never look at these villains the same way again. Before we even start dissecting the killers themselves, we have to address the single most important reason why any of these horror characters are ever successful in the first place. And why is that? They just get lucky because everyone in these movies has the survival skills of a houseplant. Frankly, it's a miracle that the victims in these horror movies even manage to dress themselves in the morning. So no surprise they can't survive being hunted by these villains. The golden rules of being a horror movie victim is number 1, hear a strange, terrifying noise in the dark, empty basement, signaling that something dangerous is clearly down there. And if you go look to see what it is, you will not come back, and then you go investigate it alone, preferably unarmed. And you must always announce your presence when investigating by saying, "Hello, is anyone there?" As if the serial killer is gonna politely respond, "Yes, in here, with the chainsaw." Rule number 2, when being chased by a killer who is walking at a chill, normal pace, you must never, ever run out the front door to safety. No, you must run upstairs, trapping yourself on the 2nd floor with no exits. Why are we doing this instead of just running outside where you could get help? Rule number 3, if you manage to knock the killer down and get their weapon, you must immediately drop the weapon next to their unconscious body and run away, instead of, finishing the job. And I'm not even exaggerating how dumb horror victims are. Think about it. Michael Myers' slow walk is only menacing because his victims have the spatial awareness of a Roomba. They're always running into dead ends or tripping over thin air. The whole Scream franchise is basically making fun of this exact thing. The characters literally sit around discussing the rules of horror movies and then proceed to break every single one of them. They answer the creepy phone call, they open the door, they go to a massive house party in the middle of a killing spree. They have all the knowledge of how to survive, but none of the common sense. It's like watching someone read a book titled How to Not Get Eaten by a Lion and then actively climbing into the lion enclosure at the zoo. So when I say I can beat these villains, what I'm really saying is that I can beat them because I am not required by a Hollywood script to have a brain made of wet cardboard. And the first villain I'm so confident I could defeat is in a category I like to call just a guy. These are the villains that, when you take away the creepy music, when you turn the lights on, when you mute the deafening jump scare sound effects, you realize they're just people. Regular, normal, probably has a normal job on the side, people running around in costumes they most likely bought at a Spirit Halloween that's a Macy's during the rest of the year. They're probably doom scrolling in their free time just like me and you, making 6, 7 jokes. The only difference between them and us is we keep the psychotic thoughts in our head. They act on them. And one villain that perfectly describes what I'm saying is Ghostface. For those of you who haven't seen the Scream movies, Ghostface is someone who stalks people and toys with them before attacking. He'll call his victims on the phone, ask creepy questions, which usually leads to these people doing something stupid and walking right into his trap. So let's be honest about Ghostface. The whole gimmick, the main idea of the whole series is that the killer could be anyone. Like the person next to you could be the killer. It could be your best friend, your boyfriend, your weird teacher that gets uncomfortably close to you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Mr. Stevenson. I still never forgot about that. But here's the flip side of that coin. Because the killer could be anyone, it's usually just some teenage kid that goes to your school. It's probably someone who, let's be real, you knew someday something like this would happen with them. And you're telling me that I'm supposed to be scared of Jimmy from 4th period history class just because he put on a mask and a voice changer? Have you ever actually watched Ghostface try to do anything? It's less like watching a master assassin and more like a live action blooper reel from America's Funniest Home Videos. This dude is basically a walking cartoon character slipping on a banana peel. Like there will literally be parts of the movie where I have to check to see if this is supposed to be a comedy or a horror film. It's a miracle he manages to have any victims at all. He trips over couches, he gets knocked out by his own bad driving, he runs face first into doors he just opened. Like if you watch the scenes where he's chasing someone and just switch out the scary music with some circus music, you realize this man is not scary at all. And if you think I'm exaggerating, I'm not, because there are entire compilations online dedicated to Ghostface tripping, falling, getting stuck in garage doors, and being completely beaten by normal stuff you find in a house. One of his most iconic moments is literally getting taken out by a small 90s era television. Ghostface is just a dude, let's be real, or a girl, I don't discriminate, but they don't got any powers. Literally, like if you wanted to right now, you could go on Amazon, buy the whole outfit, and become the next Ghostface. Okay, don't do that, but in theory, you could. But like I said, don't do that. I'm also pretty sure Ghostface has asthma because if you ever watch them chase people, they get winded after like one flight of stairs. He's got the lung capacity of a goldfish in a puddle. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, Tyler, you talk a big game, but how are you gonna defeat him? Well, the strategy to beat Ghostface is simple. Step 1, don't play his game. He calls you with that stupid, gravelly voice, asking what your favorite scary movie is. You know what you do? Hang up, block the number, done. His whole game depends on you being terrified.
We're looking for adults 45 and under to be in our HPV vaccination ad. Sound like you?
Not me. In a relationship.
If you're sexually...
So if when he calls, you just do this? Hello?
You like scary movies?
Nope, not today. He ain't doing anything. He needs you to be scared, to answer his questions, to run upstairs instead of out the front door, which I still don't understand. But when you're not playing his game, his whole plan just falls apart. And if that doesn't work and he still tries chasing after you, just fight back. Stop running. Remember, it's just Jimmy from history class playing dress up. The person in that mask chasing you is probably afraid to do a presentation in front of the whole class, and you're running from them. But if you think Ghostface would be easy to defeat, what if I told you there was a horror character that was even easier to get past? Don't believe me? Well, imagine watching a horror movie and the killer that everyone is so terrified of is a doll from Build-A-Bear Workshop. No, seriously, that's actually a real thing. And you all know what I'm talking about. Because the next villain I'm sliming out is Chucky the doll. I know. I can already hear the keyboards furiously typing. But he's not just a doll. He's possessed by a serial killer. Listen, I've seen the movies. It sounds scary on paper, but at the end of the day, he is still a 2-foot plastic doll. I'm a full-grown adult human. Okay, maybe I don't act like one, but I am. The whole reason Chucky's a successful villain is because he relies on 2 things. The element of surprise and his victims not believing a doll can actually talk and wield a knife. But once your homeboy gets put 6 feet underground by Chucky and you realize, oh snap, Chucky isn't just a normal Barbie doll, there's no excuse for him to get you. He's got these tiny, stubby plastic legs, which I also kind of have, but not as bad as his, meaning I can only walk at a normal, leisurely pace, not even jogging, just a brisk walk, and I could still leave him completely in the dust. He also has molded plastic hands that can barely grip his little kitchen knife, like you could disarm him like you're taking a Sharpie away from a toddler. This is a POV of what I'm doing if Chucky the doll tries getting me. Oh my gosh, the doll's alive. What do I do? Oh wait, I have an idea. A single, well-aimed kick, not even a powerful one, just a solid punt, would send his little redhead flying across the room like a game-winning field goal. We're talking 40, maybe 50 yards. Easy. The Chucky movies themselves repeatedly tell you what his weaknesses are. The longer his soul is trapped in the doll, the more human it becomes. This is presented as a bad thing for him, but it's a great thing for us. It means he can feel pain, he can bleed, and most importantly, he can be put down. Chucky only ever wins because his victims are literally small children, so they're low-key the same size, which that's kind of messed up, Chucky, if I'm being real. Or it's an adult that just stands there in shock because a toy is talking, so they freeze and let Chucky stab him in the ankles. And the argument people always have is, oh, well, even when you try to get rid of him, he always comes back. Oh, really? Well, have you tried everything to get rid of him? Because I don't think you have. This is all you gotta do. Step 1, walk over and pick him up by his head like this. Come here, Chuck. Step 2, take his knife. He has the grip strength of a wet napkin. It will not be difficult. Do something smart. Step 3, get rid of him in a smart way. Lock him in a safe. Toss him in a wood chipper. Melt him with a blowtorch. Don't just throw him in the dumpster. You know he's gonna come back if you do that. And I can't lie though. I talk a big game like I would easily destroy Chucky, but when I was younger, I was terrified of him. You can't tell anyone I said this, but one time I had a nightmare that Chucky was chasing me around and I woke up to a fully wet bed. So I went to my parents' room and told them Chucky did it. They didn't believe me. But now that I'm older, I ain't scared of you anymore, Chucky. So I give myself a 95% chance of defeating this doll. But one villain that I am still low-key scared of to this day is Samara Morgan from The Ring. Now, if you don't know who this is, it's the girl from this clip. Yeah, now you recognize her. Every time I watch that clip, I still get goosebumps. But after I actually watched the full movie for the first time, I realized, wait, this chick is easy to defeat. If you don't know anything about this villain, I'll give you a quick breakdown. Samara is a ghost tied to a cursed videotape. Anyone who watches the tape is marked for death and has 7 days before Samara appears and kills them. The curse can be passed on by showing the tape to someone else, forcing victims to choose between saving themselves or dooming another person. It's creepy, it's spooky, but her whole murder method, the entire foundation of her ghostly enterprise depends on a piece of technology that is now basically a dinosaur. Her curse is spread on a VHS tape. I know I've got a lot of people who watch my content that are younger, so answer this. Do any of you guys even know what a VHS tape is? Because I'm 23 years old and even I've never used one before. So if anything, it's almost harder to become a victim of Samara Morgan than not to be. Because even if you wanted to be one of the victims in the movie, you would have to find a VCR. I know, now it just sounds like I'm saying random acronyms, but that's a real thing too. A VCR is what you put the VHS tape into, or at least that's what ChatGPT just told me. Never even seen one of those in my life besides at my grandparents' house. But they passed away a while ago. Rest in peace, by the way. So I would have to go shopping at thrift stores and sketchy garage sales just for the chance to even be haunted by her. Getting haunted by Samara Morgan is literally a homework assignment. But let's say that somehow I do all that. I find a VCR or whatever it's called on eBay, look it up, and then I watch the tape. Then what? The movie says that she calls you on a landline telephone. A landline? Who under the age of 70 has one of those anymore either? Like Samara, you don't got an iPhone or anything? I could hook you up with a T-Mobile plan if that's what you're looking for. And she lives in a well. Does she even get good reception in there? Can she send a text? Actually, nah. I know Samara's sending some freaky you up text messages with a tongue-out ghost emoji. I'm sorry, Samara, but it's 2025. You gotta have a phone without a physical keyboard on it by now. Maybe if you weren't living in a dang well, you would realize we stopped using all those ancient devices years ago. Like, you need to start attacking people by jumping through their screens on YouTube. Matter of fact, here, I'll give you the chance to jump into the viewers' houses right now. Did it work? No? Dang it. Ah! So I'm literally giving myself a 100% chance of surviving in this movie because I simply do not have a VHS tape. Next up is a villain who's an engineer, a philosopher, and a kidnapper, all while actively dying. Who am I talking about? Jigsaw. Jigsaw is the villain from the Saw movies who kidnaps people and locks them into dangerous traps that are designed to kill them, unless they do exactly what they're told. When they wake up, they hear a recorded message explaining the rules of the game and how much time they have. The trap then starts counting down immediately, forcing them to make a fast decision. If you finish the task in time, you survive. If you don't, the trap kills you. The whole reason Jigsaw does this game is because he believes some people don't value their lives enough. He thinks putting them face to face with death will make them appreciate being alive. Now let's make one thing crystal clear. The traps in the Saw movies are terrifying. That's my worst nightmare. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Well, okay, yeah, I wouldn't. But Jigsaw himself, the guy pulling the strings, he's a terminally ill old man. He's not a physical threat at all. He's pretty much just the old man from the Up movie if Russell never came into his life. So if I ever got put in a Saw game, here's what I would do. Switch up on everyone. In a lot of these games, it's you and another person having to solve this puzzle to escape. But in many of the instances, only one of you can survive. So no offense to whoever I'm going up with, like, I'm sure you're a cool person, but I ain't going on that pendulum trap just so someone I barely know can survive. The tricky part about getting out of this horror movie alive is that you don't get a warning. One day, you go into your nearest coffee shop for some matcha, you blink, and next thing you know, you're waking up looking like this. And that's exactly why you shouldn't drink matcha. Jigsaw will put you in these games if you do it. If you get put in these games, there's no chance